welcome you guys. Y'all welcome to tap the screen, share the laugh. Throw a bean, so be me. What's up? Of course, Sunflower and Mama Sweets. How are you, my love? And J Bay. Hey, y'all. And Trey. Thank y'all for the tap. So for y'all, thank you, you guys.
So yeah, Grand Rising. This
Grand
is Alkaline
Rising.
and Elevated Locks. I'm so excited to be on just to connect with you, to get to know you, and then to awesome be streaming with you, sharing you on my platform. Such a blessing. Thank you so much, Elevated Locks. We call her Locks for short, y'all.
Yes.
But one more time, how you doing? How you feeling today? Because we recording now.
I am amazing. I feel rejuvenated. I just just blessed, to be here. So
Yes. Yes, y'all see her. She's a bundle of joy. I always love, and so knowledgeable. So it's great for the community because we need people doing the work on the front lines, leading by example, and sharing the knowledge is like such a huge bonus because she's open and shares shows so much of her garden lifestyle. And guys, we were just talking about how getting out and being in your it can be so charging. It can be so freeing. You need that mental space time to start the day off. And we said, you mentioned how with streaming and with our lives, it's so easy to get caught up and forget how important that time is, which is what reminded me to get started recording this because like people really need to know that you have to ask yourself how you're doing and you have to connect with nature on a regular basis. Am I lying, Elevated?
you are absolutely telling the truth. Okay. You are absolutely telling
You
the truth.
ha-
So we
you
definitely
have
have
to
to
connect
make
with
sure
nature.
that we like Alkaline Zen said that we get some us time, some me time in to help recharge our beings because we do so much stuff. We give so much energy. So whether it's to our family members or if you work a job or if you're doing social media, we give so much energy to a lot of things, and sometimes we forget to give ourselves that kind of energy. Sometimes it's just like a battery, or you have to charge something into the plug, and sometimes we have to kind of recharge ourselves to charge some kind of energy from somewhere to that's where breaking the fast come from, because we're breaking that fast to recharge ourselves, to give us that energy to allow us to make it through the day, because without that, then we are like in it non-existent without recharging ourselves in the morning.
Somebody once said to me, and it stuck. It said, "You can't pour from an empty cup now."
Right, right.
You
Absolutely.
can't pour from an empty cup.
That's right.
And I think I even heard you say that before too. As a matter of fact,
Mhm.
and that's how energy is. Guys, energy is real. We're talking about gardening, growing your own food today. We're talking about healthy living and wellness overall. But we're both. I know I want to put a much larger emphasis in my life. Like out of everything that I want to learn, nothing has a larger portion than botany, herbalism, and gardening, permaculture, agriculture. There is nothing that I want to learn more than that. So, for you, how long have you been a gardener for? Like, just some questions I always wanted to ask you.
Sure. First of all, I am just so humbled and so amazed that me and Alkali Zen are is able to connect. And I have learned the aspect of gardening, and so now I want to learn the aspect of herbalism and really get into the sea moss and different things like that. And I definitely think as a community, we have to broaden our horizon, and we have to not only learn how to garden but also get into the herbalism and also get into the sea moss, because we have different people that will approach us for different things. And we want to make sure that we are very knowledgeable. And if we're not knowledgeable in that field, like when people come over here and ask me, I send them straight to Alkali Zen. But we as a community have to be here as a whole to like help each other and not just, say, oh, okay, well, go over there to Alkali Zen. I want to be able to if they ask me some questions, I want to be able to answer these questions as well. So I've been a
Yes.
gardener almost 7 years now, so on and off, learning so many things. I'm still learning, so I'm definitely not an expert. I'm just learning and I'm
Real
living
quick.
and I'm just appreciating all of the things that we learned, that I've learned anyway. So,
It literally says each one teach one,
yeah.
each one reach one on the back of my shirt. It literally says each one teach one, each one reach one. The whole point of what I want to do is to the only way we're gonna beat big pharma and this whole big machine engine system that's literally working hard to control all of our lives is if we all become empowered. That is the only way. So let me be very clear. Thank you for saying that, Elevated, that my mission, my purpose, my job is to not share some information. It is to literally recreate 10 trillion alkaline Zens.
Yes.
Okay? I want everybody to have more than the abilities than what I have. I'm an anime fan. I love Naruto. Not a lot of people know this. And in that world, their skills that they use are referred to as jutsu,
Mhm.
as like tools, right? And and in that world, like the selfish people, they want to learn and master all the jutsu for themselves.
Right.
But like the best people, they wanted to learn and master all the jutsu to give it to the world, to be able to create life and stuff like that. And that's how I feel like, my mission, my personality is to learn as much as I can jutsu knowledge and to be able to share that with my community. And like you said, so yeah, keep broadening your horizons is my point. Just like Elevated said, and I would love to see you empowered and have just as much knowledge about the different types of sea moss and or what herbs to use for what purposes and when they're safe and when they're not, and
Mhm.
pregnant and kids and everything that I'm studying now to become a master herbalist. I want everyone to have that knowledge. That would be my dream come true. Also, thank you everyone watching on both sides
Thank
and
you.
throwing and tapping the screen. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate lotteries. I mean, unbelievable support. Thank you so much.
Right.
Irish sea moss. If we are, while I'm at it, I'm going to mention sea moss. The first and most important thing that has to be discussed is, do you know how to tell the real from the fake sea moss? Because unfortunately, majority of the sea moss on the market is synthetic, GMO, uh, pool raised, farmed, what we call synthetic farmed sea moss. Okay, what you want, and you have to know how to tell the difference because they're very different. Is wild crafted sea moss. I got some in the other room. Okay, in the raw form, and what we do here is on this side is we don't only know the moss, we get the rarest strains of moss and we herbal infuse it into something called Zen moss. Something called Zen moss. This is Crondis crispus. This is a rare type of sea moss. Most people that have ever had sea moss don't really know the different kinds like that, nor do they have the knowledge of Crondis crispus, which is the rarer kind that Dr. Sabi uses. It grows in cold water, has a little bit more wider mineral spectrum than some of the other mosses.
Mhm.
Okay, and that's what we use in our Zen moss, along with 4 alkaline herbs, which we'll talk about the herbs a little bit later when we come back around.
Yes.
But me and Elevator wanted to talk about growing some stuff, in all circumstances. Okay, I just wanted to give you all a little bit more info on sea moss, on Zen moss. I got some mushroom kits in the other room that I'm about to go grab. I saw you had so much going on in your garden yesterday. What are some of your favorite stuff to grow, Elevated?
I have so much, and I'm glad that you made that point as well with the sea moss and different things. And for me, I get on this platform to encourage people how to grow their own fruits and vegetables because I want to be that mark that when I leave here, I want to be able to have encouraged so many people. I wanted to be able to get to the masses to teach people how to garden so that we won't rely so solely on going to the grocery store, and if it's not, they're being so upset or overwhelming the system to think that we're going to say, okay, I can go to the store and get these peppers with everything going going on. I want to be to set our people up to be very strong and very independent to show these people that we can do this. If you can pay someone overseas or whatever to grow things that are not natural, that's not going to energize us, why can't we? So that is why I'm on this platform to encourage people to be able to, if I can do it, you can do it. If you have an apartment or townhouse, we can do this together. Just imagine us as a mass of people having a magnificent garden in your own backyard. How much that would save you, how much that will show them that we can do this because they don't feel like we can do this. We can really do this, you guys, but it just takes determination and it takes you to be able to care about yourself as well as your family and not leave it up to these big companies to do it for you because obviously as you can see they are not for you, they are against you, and so we just have to be a community where we encourage each other.
Wow, what a word. What a word. Y'all, is she not amazing? Give her a round of applause. Throw 10 million right now. Let me see 10,000 drags fly because that was powerful. Sheesh.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you, Elevated. I love your passion, love your energy, and I love your points. You made some really strong points. Why would we pay somebody across the world to ship us less quality foods than what we can grow in our own backyard?
Hmm. Absolutely.
Why would we do that? I never heard nobody ask that question. That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's just, to me, that's just as powerful as when is the last time you cleansed your colon? Which, as you guys know, that's my favorite question.
Okay.
Okay.
It's time for
Um,
detox for me anyway, you know. But some of my important things for me for when start my garden, I actually go through each area in my garden and I ask myself a question. When I'm growing this, what does it benefit? How does it benefit me? You know, and so as far as for me, this is how I space out my garden. Everything that I grow, I wanted to make sure that it's a benefit for me, and not only for me, not only for the what I exist for my family. I want to make sure that I'm getting what I need, the vitamin K. I want to make sure that everything I eat is protecting my immune system and is protecting against cancer and different other elements of why these fruits and
you
vegetables
guys
are
hear
here
this?
on earth. So one thing when you want to start to learn about gardening, for me, you need to really sit down and holistically think. I need the fruits and vegetables in my garden that's going to give me that recharge, that's going to give me that protection that I need because they're here to protect us. The peppers, like I grow peppers and onions and different herbs like sage and oregano and different things in my garden because I know these gonna benefit me in the long run. I'm just not going out here just growing anything that does not have a purpose. So once you really get into the root of finding out what the purpose is of what you're growing, then that's when you can grow as a person. And that's what I had to realize as gardening because I used to garden so many other things. But as I sat down and really thought, what were the purposes of, say, for instance, I grew carrots a long time ago. I don't grow them anymore. So I really sat and figured out what purpose were the pineapples that I grow? What purpose are the onions that I grow? What purpose are the herbs like cilantro and parsley and holy basil? What are these things that do to our body? How can these things help not only me but other people as well? Okay, I
You see? No, absolutely. I pulled basil up right when you said holy
Yes,
basil.
yes, yes. So we just
Smells
got to
so
get into the
heavenly.
movement and not so much follow the convention of people because they're growing so many other things. But you have to grow things that's in your garden. It means for a purpose. And my purpose, I grow all types of onions. I grow bell peppers because bell peppers and onion you can mix them. And now Alkaline Zen has made me do research yesterday, y'all, and I'm going out there and buying me some mushrooms, okay? I've been trying to find the shiitake mushrooms for the longest time. So since I can't find them, I'm gonna have to grow them myself.
Okay, I see you. I have so many questions flying through my
Sure.
mind. I should have wrote some stuff
It's
down.
okay.
I yeah, no, I appreciate you. You're great. So what would you say, right? Like this guy right here, for example. First of all, as a matter of fact, first of all, before I get into my personal question, because I have a personal question about my basil plant that I got. Um, I wanted to actually see your take on because a lot of people they I know they're hearing us right now, right? And they're hearing us talking about the need to grow food. Welcome to Zen Plants Green and Elevated Locs. We're doing a powerful segment, growing your food, growing your life. It's a beautiful thing. And I want to know what put out there for people actually, because I know people are thinking like they're looking around in their living room in their apartments, because most people may not actually even be in a home that's watching this, right? They might probably are in an apartment like myself. I'm in an apartment. I haven't, and once I left my mom's house, I haven't had a home since that point. I've been in renting and whatnot, and manifest soon come get a homestead again. But in the meantime, for all my people that aren't at that stage yet, they're still working to get their lives out, but they want to grow their food now. My word to them, okay, because I know that in the city, we got windowsills. We have the inside ledge of every window can be lined with pots. Okay, that's first of all. Then there's second of all, the outside ledge, whether you have none, there are devices out there that hang and create broad shelves for you to hang and grow things on the outside ledge of your window. That's second of all. Third of all, every fire escape and every rooftop in New York City should be covered. Okay? That's third, right? You got fire escapes and you got rooftop access. Then fourth, you got community gardens. I'm actually on this live. If Elevator has time, we're gonna step out and I'm gonna show you guys two or three community gardens within walking distance and just what type of potential you can have in your neighborhood. Unbelievable. I just came back to this area, Coney Island, Brooklyn, but they have some phenomenal community gardens going on that I want to step out and show you guys. And then fifth of all, you can approach any business. I did this already myself. I have video footage of me. You can approach any business that has an outdoor space out front or out back, and you can offer them to landscape it for free. But you're gonna plant seeds. You're gonna plant plants. You're gonna grow food. You're not just gonna, you know what I'm saying? So they get something out of it and you get something out of it. I approached somebody as soon as the lockdown started. I said, oh, well, if they gonna give me free time, I'm gonna start a garden. Don't play with me. As soon as the lockdown started, I approached the business owner here in Brooklyn. I talked to him about it because I knew he had a messy outdoor space out back. He didn't want to pay nobody to take care of it, and he didn't want to do it himself. So I cleaned it up on the premise that I could grow food there, and we could, decide what type of, like he said, you could take majority of it, but like I would take some stuff too. And I was like, all right, cool, deal. It was like a 5 minute conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now I ended up giving him
Like,
control of the garden, and he had somebody else take over it because I ended up traveling a lot more than I anticipated.
mm-hmm.
But it was a really awesome experience, and I gardened there for a couple of months, and like that's like my first home.
Right.
But you guys get what I'm saying. There's a lot of ways that you can create a garden out of nothing. Even when there is cement land, you can put a brick, right? Like, and build a box, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like dirt over and soil. And if you could touch on like how soil is the true foundation of a good garden.
Right. And like Alkaline Zen said, that is very true. There are a lot of these small businesses that would love to have somebody to come over there and, put a little garden in it. You don't understand how it really would help them as well, especially if you're telling them I can grow these type of herbs. This will actually help them, the business, to not have to spend money to these other companies to order things. So you would never know talking to a small business owner, how can you trigger things so you guys can come together? Also, you can always ask, because a lot of land that most places aren't using. A lot of times they will donate a little piece of the land for you. You just have to learn how to ask and open up the windows and manifest this thing. And if that means having a community garden, go to the city where you live at and find out, is there a program where somehow, they can donate this piece of land, or if it's a little teeny piece of land, or do a GoFundMe. So there's a lot of people that are on the bandwagon of starting their own garden or their own community garden. You just have to be able to dig down deep inside to figure out where they are, because they do exist though.
Exactly. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to get out there, talk to people. It's mutually beneficial on a high level. And I'm just shouting out people in the comments. I didn't shout out some people that joined the room. Thank you guys for being here. And yeah, there's so much potential. There's so much. Think about if, and there's another family I want to show y'all. Okay, think about the potential if everywhere you saw grass, you saw food growing instead. Just start there. Okay, just by starting there. So you can start by approaching your family, approaching your loved ones, anybody you know that has some type of. And again, I don't care if the space is like a 2 by 4 plot. I don't care.
Mhm.
Do a lot with that. Don't do something. You can do a lot with a little bit of space. Okay, you have to learn. Obviously, Luminous Grand Rising. You have to learn and get some tools. So speaking of learning, get some tools. I talked about how many different spaces you can grow in, right? But then how many different spaces you can grow in, but also how can we get different foods of different kinds in here without breaking the bank. I think people don't understand how affordable that growing is, and then how you can like kind of grow stuff that in an ecosystem that works together,
Right.
type of a flow,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. So for me, that was a definitely a. When I first started to think of, I always was the person that used to buy a lot of seeds and organic seeds, of course. So if you can get your hands on organic seeds, trust me, organic seeds are the best. But I definitely understand that it's getting, a lot of things are getting harder and harder, even for a gardener like me. Like it's definitely for this year. I have not really seen a lot of organic seeds like I used to in the past couple of years. And that's how you know that things are definitely changing. And we definitely need to change with the times.
Listen,
There's going to be a time where they're going to try to swipe all of the organic seeds from us, because they don't want us to really purify the ground and really grow organically. They're going to want to have everything as genetically modified, where it quickly grows within a week or two. You guys don't understand how the farming system is actually working. You guys don't understand really how fast these vegetables are growing when they are not naturally growing. And so you have to really realize what it's really actually doing to the body once they intake into the body with all of those modified things that they're doing. And they're going around buying up land. I live in the state of Georgia, so they have bought over 50,000 pieces of land already, and they're just going around the world just buying land. So this is a factor of things that you need to see and pay very close attention. And these, they're not just buying up land to resell it to you to be like, oh, this is the happy go lucky time. They're buying up land because they want a genetically modified farms. And what a genetically modified farm is, it's a farm that they're able to use lots of chemicals. Being by I am an organic, I have an organic garden, if you guys didn't know, just to drop a little gems, okay? When you have an organic farm, that's why organic when you go to the store to buy a lot of organic items, hey Shayla, organic items, okay, these organic items cost you because there are a lot of regulations that we have to abide by. Okay, so when you're an organic farm, you have to be a certain amount of feet away from a genetically modified farm. And the reason why is because there are a lot of chemicals that floats from that particular farm, and it can actually get into your garden, your organic garden. So it is very important that we take heed to things that are happening and not ignore these things because they are very, very, very important.
Very, very, very important, guys. We have spoken about this very often. Shayla, Grand Rising, Sarah, yes, amazing. The way Lox is breaking everything down really well. I appreciate you, Queen. So important for us to understand this. Seeds are becoming incredibly precious. Okay, times are changing. I mean, it was always life. It was always beautiful. It was always incredible. But now it's becoming like the precious. Like we have to cherish and protect, just like some of these endangered species out here. Okay, this is just not to be like high alert, but there are places you can go and you can buy up seeds. Okay, right now I know in Atlanta there was a market by Five Points called Seven Onda, and they had some organic seeds. I showed you guys on live. I was pretty excited about that. But the range of vegetables and the access is very different than what we are used to experiencing. Things are definitely changing, and at this point, yes, and at this point, it's becoming and very important to learn your foraging and how to recognize things in the wild, which is also just as important part of this growing process. If you don't know what foraging is, guys, it's your ability to, recognize and find food out in the wild. That's my definition of it. I don't know what the dictionary says,
It,
but right? Is that what it says? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
that's
I'm
pretty
just
much
double
what
checking.
foraging is because you just never know any instance that things could occur like Alkaline Zen was saying. You want to be able to know what this is and what this can possibly be to help, get you along this
Yeah.
journey. And so for me, what I do, I started doing this like almost 3 years ago. So I really go on into the organic section. And so the things that I buy organic, I do use them. And so what I do is it's just like this. Instead of me throwing the straps away, I regrow the straps. So like this is a process of an organic onion. So I've actually already even used it, and so it's already actually grown back. And as you can see, there is the roots and everything, and it's actually in a glass jar. So you can do this, y'all. So what I do to help save money is the food that I buy organically from the store. I use it in the house, and then the scraps I regrow in my garden. This actually will help you save money, and so that you won't have to keep spending so much money on these things. And this is what they don't want you to learn. This is the process that they want you to throw away the scraps and keep going back to the store and making them rich. But when we need to learn how to make ourselves rich, and it's not about rich in money, but it's rich into the foods that we eat and what we plant in the garden. It is very so important.
Wow. Wow, y'all. She is on fire. I knew this was going to be powerful. Like I said, it had to be recorded. So that's just right on the money. Yeah, for real. For real. I've mentioned, I showed you guys the chopped off lettuce that you take the base of the lettuce head, the little where the brown, that little round side, that circle, and you place it down in some water, or excuse me, up in some water, right? And with the brown piece down, and we had lettuce start to grow from it in a little dish with some water. Okay, you take the base, the little end piece of the lettuce, and you place it in a dish with some water, and then once it starts to sprout, yeah, boom, exactly.
Yes,
All right, once it starts to sprout, once all you need is that little piece at the end.
yes.
That's all you need to regrow a full new head of
And
lettuce.
that's what this is.
Okay?
I regrew this from an old lettuce that I've already used. I actually cut it, and like Alkaline Zen says. And so just imagine if I would have went to the store to purchase this lettuce right here. Just imagine how much would this cost. And just imagine in the future, this one piece of head of lettuce will probably cost you about $3 or $4 in the near future with them genetically modifying things. So I was able to go to my garden and pull this out. And so what I'm going to do is now is I'm going to keep recycling this lettuce until it stops growing. So what I'll do is I'll cut it in like Alkaline Zen says, and I'll go ahead and replant this lettuce. These are the things that they do not want us to teach ourselves and to teach the masses, because you have to understand teaching the masses will decrease their people going to the store to buy the items that they have in the store. So that's why it's very important. I'm still learning every day that the things that definitely help us and to keep us, growing and to keep us saving. So that's the biggest issue, you guys, is to learn how to help us to save, because saving is so beneficial for the growth of, doing some things that you have to do or can do.
Big facts. Big facts. I'm from Brooklyn, NYC, Brooklyn. What about you, Lots?
I am
You
from
from Georgia?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Representing.
Yes. So, yes.
Okay, cool. Cool. Don't mind me, guys. I'm just slicing up some watermelon because I did not. I mean, I had some dandelion root tea to break my fast, but I did not have anything solid yet. How do you usually do some tea in the AM, or how do you usually like to
Yes,
start your day?
for me, what I do, most of the time I rotate it. I'm definitely a tea connoisseur girl. I love my tea in the morning. It helps to revitalize and wake up all of the stomach muscles and just everything. Also a
Yes,
lemon or a lime. Girl, I'll drink with some lemon or some
she
lime water in
nailed
the
it.
morning. I like to kind of give my the stomach muscle and the gut time to kind of like wake up and get it together. You don't
Right,
want to throw food down your guys' throat early in the morning, because you have to remember you're at a rest and a standstill at night. So when you wake up in the rising, you're breaking that fast from your body being sleep. And so you want to make sure that you don't overload your stomach the first thing that you wake up in the morning. You want to make sure you give yourself a good nice tea. Loose tea is better, but if you can't find loose tea, you definitely can make sure you get organic tea in a bag, okay? And make sure it says organic and USDA is very important. But I like to get down up in the dirt and drink my tea in the morning. I do a little dandelion root tea. I do all different types of teas, but I definitely am a lemon and lime girl in the morning that helps, like, any issues with the stomach or any bowel problems, you guys. It
yep,
definitely helps with that as well. Yep, it definitely helps.
yep. Yeah, you hit on everything. Waking up the stomach muscles, having your teas, gently waking up from that standstill that you're at all night. The body has a circadian rhythm, y'all. It has a time that it is doing certain things automatically. This is what we mean when we say out of alignment versus in alignment. You can go with the grain or you can go against it. We are not supposed to have a meal after 9, 10 p.m. We are not supposed to have we're not supposed to eat, you know, cheese, bread, milk, and or meat first thing in the morning like I did for majority of my life. We're not supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm. And Alkaline
Okay?
Z said that too.
Um
I did too. When I didn't know that these things were damaging to our body and the functions, I was like that too. I didn't realize how much meat was doing things to us and how it was processing through the system until I was really able to be woken. And you guys, just to throw a gem, and I'm gonna let Alkaline Zen talk. Um, the doctor, when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, "Oh, you're set up for cancer because it's a gene in your family," you guys, that is not true. You have to think of the food that the generations before you ate. Okay, that has become a habit, and so as the food starts to pass down from the fried chicken, the fat bat, the macaroni and cheese, and all of these things, those were the issues what were causing the high blood pressure, the diabetes, and the cancer. It's not in your genes, it's the food that you're passing down from generation to generation. So it's up to us to be able to learn how to cut these things out. I don't expect for people, and like I said, to cut them all out at one time, but you have to gradually take yourself out of this certain element to where they saying that, oh, because your mother had cancer, you're going to get it. That's absolutely a lie. It's the food that we consume. It's the food that they put out here, that they put on these TV commercials, these children watching this sugary cereal with all of these chemicals in it. These are the things. There should be no reason why these children are born into this world with cancer. There is no reason why these children have to suffer, and these people because
That part.
cancer that they're actually putting in the foods. So as us women that conceive, well, all of these foods that we're eating is what's causing the cancer, and it's just unsettling.
Yep.
I'm very sad that a lot of children have to be born into this world with cancer.
I say all the time, it's a shame how much women, remember, women in our community die 3 to 4 times higher in childbirth because these loser murderers that they call doctors don't even believe our queens when they're talking about the pains and the symptoms that they're going through, folks. Now imagine what those rates would look like if we knew how to properly cleanse, detox, and rebuild our body, and we didn't end up reacting in crisis mode when complications arise, when we are not fully prepared to conceive or don't want to pass down, okay, a poor foundational structure to the next generation. Okay, so and again, it's not intentional. It is none of this is obviously, and I don't think at least anybody's running around saying that they want to do this.
Right.
Okay, but we do have to draw the connection to what we are pouring our energy into that doesn't serve us, and the things that we are neglecting that our ancestors did so much better with. Okay, they did a lot better with their mental health, their emotional health. I know you're probably like thinking like, wait, what, slavery times our ancestors did? No, before that. Okay, our history does not start with slavery.
Right.
Okay, for those that aren't on the same tune with me right now. Our ancestors were the first doctors, were the first meditators, were the first, you know what I'm saying? Aligners, chakras, healers, all that Reiki, all that good stuff, sound, energy healing, all of that stuff. They're actually talking about how they don't understand how our ancestors had depictions of the solar system so accurately 6,000 years ago, and all this knowledge that our people had that obviously is technology and knowledge that we have lost somewhere in between here. But yeah, back to the point. Getting to take care of yourself on all facets, on all levels, is so important. And growing your food is going to be a huge tool to make all of that so much easier. So I want people to learn how to take care of their body, how to take care of their food, how to know their rights, because these hospitals and these food companies, they're all one big machine on a team together. They're all one big machine owned by a couple guys on a team together. Okay, and Elevated gave a lot of insight into their plan about controlling GMO food. Lab made this, lab made that. You guys hear me talk about that enough times. So let's get into some more practical stuff now, as well too, because I want to know, if you were to tell somebody, a couple of different ways that they could start their garden. I want to expose some people to some information because I know some people here have probably never been on a gardening channel before. And they want to learn some cool stuff about how to set their garden up. So I know that when I started my first garden, I was learning that obviously, you can there's a couple ways you can go about it. You can do the napkin with the germination, right? With putting your seeds, right, to get the thing started. You can do stuff like what we were talking about, taking the ends and the scraps.
Mm-hmm.
You guys should be, if you're brand new, write this down, or I'll upload this. You're gonna, do your germination, which is classic original. You could regrow from scraps. And then you can. What I also like is to shortcut the whole process. You can go to Home Depot right now. You can buy some plants about yay high,
Mm-hmm.
and you can start planting plants. Of course, you want to get the organic ones, or my favorite, which you guys are gonna see this Saturday. Go to the organic farmers market, and you can find and work with the organic farmers. Shop local, invest local with the people who have put the love and the care into nurturing some of the highest quality soil
Mm-hmm.
that we can get our hands on. These local, and I found 3 different farmers markets in New York City, just in like the Brooklyn area. You have no idea how much potential is out there. Look this up. You may have to drive a little bit further, but look this up and make sure you're aware of what is within reach, because even if it's like, let's just say 2 hours away, okay, I make 2 hours deliveries to like the Bronx, okay,
Right.
and stuff like that here in New York City to myself just to drop off a jar of Zenmos. So it's nothing to me, okay? But if you had to drive 2 hours, which I think is a lot more comfortable than traveling on a train and bus for 2 hours, like I do, if you had to drive for 2 hours one time to load your car up with some organic foods once a month, twice a month, whatever you set up a system and plan. Trust me, you will remember this when things change. I'm not high, and I know Locs touched on it. It's going to happen. The food price shifting, the destruction of seeds, them taking over land, they are signs of things to come.
Yes.
And those people that are acquiring land and starting to grow their own food in their apartments right now are going to have game changer differences
Mm-hmm.
in the years to come. I promise you.
That's
It's
right.
going to be a big difference.
Mm-hmm. You
It's going to be a big
you
difference.
definitely
Make that investment.
right, and you definitely need to like Alkaline Zen says, you definitely don't want to wait to the last minute. So these are important things. If you starting to hear more people talk about gardening, they're not just talking about this just to have a conversation. These are things that they see that are coming in the forefront. And of course, not everyone has big land or big piece of property, but don't allow that to stop you from doing what you need to do that is right for you, okay? So you definitely can, if you live in an apartment or a condo or something that has a balcony or a backyard, you can always ask your landlord, look, can I use this little piece right here to line my buckets up in the back? I really want to grow tomatoes and peppers. A lot of times, if you tell the landlord and show them exactly where you want to put it or what you're doing, and really tell them what the reason why you're doing this, a lot of landlords will take heed and be like, okay, well, just take this little piece, but you will never know if you don't ask these questions. And like I said,
Right.
definitely do it in an apartment as long as you have a window sill. It doesn't have to cost you a lot. If you have a thrift store like a rummage sale or any yard sales, you can go get old like desks or bookshelves, and you can start from there. But we have to be a community where we stop making up excuses about things costing too much, because there are thrift stores or different things out there. And also, if you go to a farmers market, I have been to farmers markets, of course, here in Georgia. They have so many farmers markets everywhere, especially organic farmers markets. I even started to talk to a farmer, and we're going to hopefully take a field trip there. And also, they are willing to even give you sometimes a piece of what's in their organic farm. Okay, and sometimes you might have to pay for it, but just imagine the cost that is actually saving you when you do this process, or actually growing your own fruits and vegetables. So there are a lot of vegetables like onions that I don't even have to ever buy because it's so plentiful in my garden, and it grows back so fast that you don't even miss it being gone.
So phenomenal. So phenomenal. So much great advice. So much great insight. We're definitely going to step out soon and check out some local gardens. Even though I don't really have access, I just want to show you guys the potential and what you may not even know is in your neighborhood. Remember, I'm in Brooklyn, New York City. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, I have an apartment. I live in an apartment building. What can I do? I have numerous plants around me, okay, little guys. And then, because like I said, every windowsill could and should be lined with pots, okay? So, feel free to jump in anytime, Elevated. And, we're talking gardening setups, y'all, what you need to get started. So, you want to get some higher quality soil, okay? You want to look for I think they use like bone or some. They use like some weird thing, animal product in certain soils that you want to look out for and make sure it's not in your soil. Okay, and then on top of that, truth be told, I want something that says like organic, plant, all plant based soil, because you never, you never know. Like I have something like this here. This was just what. Remember, I'm not home. I'm being hosted, but I'm also being hosted by someone who feels the same way about plants as I do, herb enthusiast, and they had some organic and natural nature's care. It's from the makers of Miracle Grow, but it's not a Miracle Grow product. They had to reinvent. Obviously, these people know what's going on and what the to market and the demographics for. So make sure that bone product is not in your soil, whatever it's called. There is a soil that I found online that I thought looked really amazing, like as far as like how they, nutritionally build their soil up. When I find it, I will post it here on Bigo. Promise, within this week, because this month is all about growing your own food. Okay. I need to get set up on another level, and I want to make sure you guys are set up on another level. And so yeah, your soil, okay, is first thing, right? And then you have to decide like what you could do. Obviously, like I said, you could do your germination and seeds. You can, if you're gonna get some plants, let's say you're serious and you want to get busy and you want to go buy some guys that are like close to being mature and start filling out a garden and then like really growing those and harvesting from those maybe this season, before the next 2 months are done, because we kind of got August and September, depending on where you are, right, of still really great weather. I think Georgia,
Mhm.
I was in Georgia in November and we were still having 80-degree days. So Georgia is phenomenal. You can grow much later than New York. But, you have to know your climate and don't be worried about the weather. There are things that I can grow in NYC year round. There are things I can grow indoors without much sunlight, which we're going to talk about the mushroom kits that I have in the living room. Okay, there are things you can grow indoors in cool weather. It doesn't matter. You just have to learn more. That's why you don't have food growing in your apartment right now. Okay, guys. So, what pots and then like what's the difference between like a raised bed and then they have like just the regular like
Right. So all the raised bed is it's pretty much a bed that's outside, and it's actually leveled kind of high, so that it helps, for people who won't have to bid all the way down or pick it up. So it's just what it says, a raised bed. So it's long like a bed, and it's just raised high so that you can grow like more stuff. So there's raised beds. You can do a container garden. If you have a garden, you can plant things in the ground. So I do both. I have a container garden as well as a garden you can plant in the ground. You can do raised beds. There are just so many ways that you can do this gardening thing that it would just turn your head. So many different ways. You can grow in 5-gallon buckets. If you have a local bakery where you are, those containers that they use for frosting, you can actually ask for them. A lot of times they're absolutely free because they're just going to throw them away. And what I do, of course, you don't want to put your plants in there with the that chemically frosted. So what I do is I fill it up and I put apple cider vinegar and a 2 or 3 sprinkles of I can't even think of it. It's just slipped my mind. But baking soda, and I let it sit, and I wash it out really good. And you can use a 5 gallon bucket. So there is so many natural ways that you can do this, where it also saves you and the company from really throwing these things into the waste, into the trash compactor, because we got enough trash everywhere. Okay, we don't need to add to it. All right. And so for me as well, like alkalines in touching on what he was saying, the soil is definitely very important. I also have 2 compost bins in my garden as well. So I actually make my own soil as well. So, it's a process that you have to go through. It's definitely not ready, right then. But I definitely have a compost bin. I have 2 compost bins in my yard as well. So I use that if I can't get my hands on any like organic soil. So there's ways that you can definitely work around this, and you can do it. You can definitely do it.
That's so dope. So dope. So great insight. Okay, so y'all heard about some different style of gardening setups. Of course, you can get bigger pots, okay, as well too. If you don't want to make an all-out bed, okay, style gardening, you can just keep increasing pot size, digging it up, replanting it. Obviously, that's a delicate process, and you got to be careful when you're doing that and whatnot too. Okay, um, hey, thank you so much, G2,
Thank you.
G2T, and Eloquent J, and everybody that's listening and tapping the screen. I appreciate y'all. We just talked about the setup, soil, now your type of bed, which means you're either going to get pots or wood. If you're making a raised bed, which, I recommend if you do have some space, we do want to take advantage of land. We talked about acquiring land. So you're going to have to learn this if you're getting some land, right? You're going to want to, use a tarp. Okay, it's very easy. You only need a couple of ingredients. You just need like some wood, tarp, and then soil, and then your
Hmm.
seeds or your plants to get in there. Okay, you don't need a lot, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube. This is obviously going to be on YouTube too, breaking this down, and we're going to do more tutorials of showing you guys hands on here. Because I didn't tell LA, but I had plans for a sequel. Okay, and so we're gonna do some great stuff here as well too. So to that point, I'm gonna grab my mushroom kit, but I want to let you see what your take is. So my basil, you guys were watching. I bought a basil plant that was like the length of my head, right? It was like a baby little basil plant. They have those plants. Oh, you could take it home in the grocery,
Yeah.
and like, oh, you keep growing it. So I took it home and I had it in the little pot, and I grew it till it got nice and tall. And then I said, let me move it to another pot because it sprouted up new life as well too, right? And it was doing phenomenal. A1, my beautiful guy here. But then the heat turned up to a completely another level, and for about 2 days, it got way too much sun, and it didn't get anywhere near enough water because I was also like a little neglectful. So it was a double whammy, and my poor baby, we got all the
Um,
good. He's recovering. Up top, they're still looking great, but down here, we had a lot of loss of I want to prune. I feel like I have to prune all of this, right? Because for those that don't know, these guys that we I neglected, they're now sucking nutrition, water, any life, energy away from these guys that are still doing their thing. Okay, so now we got to say, okay, take one for the team, put these guys down. We're gonna have to prune a lot of these guys, and then. But is there anything else like what should I don't want to overwater it now? I
okay.
just want to give them.
So So the first thing you did, and I'm just so happy you said this, because that is the number one thing that definitely helps your plant. So you have to think of it. Sometimes you have to give your plant a haircut. Just like we have all of those split ends, if you have natural hair and it's just everywhere, if you add chemicals and stuff, to the hair. You sometimes you have to go in and trim them edges, because if you don't trim those edges, your hair won't keep growing more at a healthier rate. And so those
Right.
ends will keep going up the shaft, and before you know it, you don't have any hair. So what you're doing is absolutely right. So what I want you to do is go in there and give it a haircut. Don't be afraid to give it a haircut, because you got to remember there is still life in there. If it wasn't life, you wouldn't see it budding at the top. And so you're absolutely right about the energy. So the flower from the root is trying to give it some kind of energy. And the poor little baby just like, I'm gone, just bury me. I'm going to the plant afterlife. So you just want to go in there and just nurture it. You want to just move the soil around. As you move the soil around, what happens is you're allowing all of the good old air to circulate through the roots. So you want to make sure you get some air circulating, some nice H2O up in there in that root, so it can give some more breathing room. Because sometimes as you water the plant, the soil ends up packing down. And sometimes it doesn't give the roots enough air to kind of circulate. So you want to make sure you go in there first and foremost,
Mm,
a nice haircut. And when you go in there, you can get some nice little tweezers. And what you want to do is you just want to gently go around down there in the soil and just move it around just a little bit, so more of the air can
okay.
kind of circulate, so that the roots can get more of some kind of circulation down there. So it
Thank
definitely will
you.
help circulate the air. And then next, what you want to do is you want to give it some some sunlight. So different herbs don't really need a lot of sunlight. So if you want to throughout the day, you can give it around 2 to 3 hours of sun, and then you can just leave it on your counter. So always remember, herbs don't really need a lot of sunlight, but just enough sunlight throughout the day would be just fine. Okay, so you also got to remember as well, you don't have to water your herbs every single day. I have to kind of water mine a little bit because majority of them are outside, but I do have some inside. So you have to remember the air that circulates in your house is a different type of air outside. So the outside air is kind of humid, and it goes through certain things. So you have to remember as well, inside of your house, you have the air condition, if you have fans blowing. So it's a different type of air circulation that circulates inside of your house. So you don't have to water your plant every single day. Okay, it's not a necessity unless it's really outside where it's just really drenched in the sun all the time, every day, all day. So if you want to skip and do your have your water your plant maybe 2 to 3 times a week, that'll be definitely totally fine. But I think she is good. You just need to go in there and give her a good haircut, move the soil around, let some air circulate down there in the roots, okay? And let that baby alone and let her do her thing, okay?
Now, and also notice, okay, these are our babies. These are our family. This is life. This is your brother. This is your sister. This is you. These plants are alive. We talk to them because they are living beings, and we talk to them as such. And I share that energy. I told them like, "You gonna be good. We gonna get you bounced right back. My fault. You know what I'm saying? My apologies.
And
we
but
gonna
the
swoop you
thing
right
about
up." But I
it's
definitely
still
got to give you a
green at the
haircut.
top. So that is a great indication. If you have something that looks like that, as long as you see green somewhere, then definitely there is a sign of acceptance. There's a sign of life. You can't give up on us. We still here. We gonna be fighting for you. You might have put us in the sun a little too long, and we done got crispy a little bit. But you just go in there and you give it a haircut and you keep it moving.
The
Yeah.
basil smells so good, so fresh, so like you don't even know. Like this is so. I felt so bad because she was flourishing so beautiful. Even down here, all this new life that was coming in. I'm kind of sad about it, but it's okay because once we clear it up, we're gonna get more new life. We're gonna get more new life coming right back to this. So thank you so much, Elevated, and I'm gonna keep
Yes,
you
definitely.
updated
And then
on the
also
journey.
too,
All
yeah,
right.
also
Also,
too, you
guys, you
can get
see,
some organic plant food. And when you go to your local market, see if you can find some organic plant food. A lot of times plants need a little food to encourage them, to push them along the journey and along the edge just a little bit. And you can do that at least once a month. And once you do that, it actually gives more foliage to it. It will actually be able to brush out a lot more, because basil is like a wild growth plant. So it likes to just, stretch its arms out and give you like 20 or 30 leaves. So definitely
Hmm.
take a look into that. Once you get your baby back healthy, look into some organic plant food, and then let it do its own little thing, and it'll definitely be okay.
Very excited about that. You really knocked that out the park for me. Thank you so much. I'm excited to touch her up. Now, um, we talked about soil, excuse me, and we talked about the beds, the pots. We talked about how to help a recovering guy or gal. And now, what do you think, is other intangibles, something that I may not know that I need to know, or that people generally don't know, other intangibles and stuff about gardening, about the lifestyle, something that you have to do on a regular basis, maybe we don't know about, or just what comes with the territory, protecting against bugs and stuff like that. What else is there to know
Of
about the
course,
lifestyle?
gardening can definitely be very intimidating sometimes, especially when you're just learning this whole gardening thing, especially when you don't know about, different things that you're growing. So definitely gardening can be very intimidating, but don't allow it to be intimidating. Let this be a fun moment for you to learn new things. So allow this moment that you're learning how to garden, whether that's in the house or outside, let this be one of the fun moments. Okay, so what I like to do is, I like to put on music a lot of times when I'm in the garden. As I put on music, it helps me to refocus and start to really get into the garden. Also, give yourself time to learn these things, because this you can't learn gardening overnight. There is still a process. I've been doing this for 6 years, and I'm still learning that different plants require different type of care and different type of food. So allow yourself patience. Allow yourself that you're going to have those moments where your plant is will die, or something might not grow, and you might not get but two leaves, or just absorb that moment and be grateful, because when I first started gardening, I used to kill so many things until I really had to learn the process. And so don't overwhelm yourself. So if you want to start with learning how to grow tomatoes, start focusing on how to grow tomatoes. If you want to learn how to grow, onions, start to learn and gradually add things. One thing that I do notice people do is when they start to garden, they start to overwhelm themselves with so many fruits and vegetables that they don't know even how to even remotely get it together. So my thing I feel like people should definitely do is take one plant at a time. Learn the plant. Like Alkaline Zen has that herb basil. Learn what basil does for you. Learn how to take care of basil. And what you do once you learn that and you got your hands on it, add another herb and then keep adding more things over a time. You will definitely learn how to do these things. And so for me, I have become in the habit of, like I said, playing music in my garden. Add different colored things, even if you're doing something in the house. Add little bows to things, make stuff pop. Add, just make it the way you want to make it, and something that you enjoy. I think a lot of people take gardening so serious that they don't really understand that this is something that you are supposed to enjoy, and that is something that you really are supposed to get in tune with and be doing this, because this is something that either you need to do or you just want to do it. It's kind of like a little hobby that you have. Like some people like to run as a hobby, or paint or draw. And so pretty much gardening became a hobby for me, because I was in this moment of just not loving myself back then, and not understanding how important it was to love yourself, and how important I was giving my energy to so many people, and how they was trying to diagnose me with depression. And so gardening came into my life on that note, to know that I had to love myself, and I had to have these babies in my garden, because my plants are my babies. These are plants that require me to take care of them. Without me taking care of them, they would die. They wouldn't, nurture and blossom. So I started looking at it at that moment, that these plants were my babies, and it's just something that they relied on me, and I relied on them to give me a sense of peace and understanding that no one could give me. And as that time went on, I was able to fix my inner self and my inner beauty, to know that things are not going to always fix itself, but we have to put ourselves in that ramification, in that situation, that things will work out in due time. And we just have to learn how to love ourselves and give ourselves room to grow. And that's one big thing we have to understand, is we have to understand that we have to give ourselves that room to grow and understand who we are. And when we understand that process and we understand that, then everything will definitely work out for you guys.
Wow. Wow. So powerful, so real, so transparent. I hope you guys are soaking this up. That was really great. That was really great. So true. You don't really know how powerful, getting in tune with nature, getting yourself in alignment. Just things that come along with this type of discipline and energy. You got to be up. You got to make sure and have your life on a little bit of a routine. You can't just forget about it. Who's going to take care of the babies when we go out of town? You know? So it's different. It's different. Okay, this gardening life. You can't just leave them. You can't just leave them. Okay? And what that does within you, okay, as you cultivate and nourish, your inner energy simultaneously. You know, I talk about the karma and how the karmic energy of the death process with the animal stuff, but I never talk about the reverse of how good the energy feels just by you interacting and engaging in the garden and feeling and grounding. Okay, grounding on a daily, sun gazing, being out there, getting that light. It's
Mm-hmm.
all connected. My favorite phrase, y'all. It's all connected. Okay, so that was a very very powerful piece there. I'm super excited. I was getting ready to step out and to go. No, I was getting ready to step out and to go. Check out these community gardens that are close by to show you guys. But before I do that, I have my lion's mane mushroom kit. I have a lion's mane mushroom kit that I just purchased on Sunday, and I was putting it in and out the fridge. I don't want to kill it, and I feel like I'm going to if I don't make the
Right.
X's. He said you're supposed to cut it, make the
Mm-hmm.
X's on the bag so it can
Right.
start to grow through. This is my first time, so I'm about to do it live. I'm about to do it here with you guys. I'm about to cut into it. I really don't know what I'm doing, but that's what he told me, the mushroom guy. It's kind of coming apart a little bit in the center. I hope I didn't mess it up already, but we're going to see. You know, he didn't say much else to do except for to wet it to keep it moist as you as you cut it
Mm-hmm.
and create the opening for it. And I know you're like, Zen, you're growing organic food in plastic.
Right.
Mushrooms are different. Mushrooms are different. Okay. This is a very common method to grow mushrooms, and I'm not really worried about the plastic around it. Again, a lot of this is for learning, and a lot of this is for who knows what type of emergency situation we could be in one day. You know what I'm saying? So, and not to mention, there's plenty of people starving out there that would love some lion's mane mushroom
Okay.
steak from my plastic bag. Okay, there's a lot of starving people out there that would love that. Okay, that is it's going to
And
hit.
you gotta
It's going to
understand
hit.
too, after a period
So
of
let me
time,
get it.
alkaline zinc, once it gets bigger and bigger, oh, you have to remember too as well. Over a period of time, he can gradually move it out of there if he wants to. But like he said, the plastic bag won't affect it because it's actually sitting in soil. And so where he's gonna put the exit, that he's actually the guy is actually right. Mushrooms really grow within like 2 weeks, and so that's why I'm super excited. I'm going to find me some today. So I can definitely get some recipes from Alkaline for some mushroom recipes. I've never always been a mushroom kind of gal, but I definitely want to incorporate some mushrooms in there.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad.
So,
I'm glad.
don't like
Okay,
mushrooms?
somebody's not excited about shrooms, but you know, they're the best. This is what people just don't know. It's not what you cook, it's how you cook it. Most people think my mushrooms are fried chicken. That's what most people think when they eat my. They're like, this isn't chicken. That's what most people say after they eat my fried mushrooms. Okay, I'm talking about adults. I'm talking about children. I'm talking about we did it on live. We did it on live. I actually have. Do you know? Do you know? Real boss.
Yeah. Uh huh.
You
I
know,
won't personally know, but I've seen them.
right? She
Yeah.
copy. We did a split screen in the kitchen cooking alkaline fried chicken. She is not vegan. She just joined my detox program, and we cooked mushrooms on live to make our alkaline fried chicken, and she gave them to her boy. I think he's like 7, and he was like, no, he literally told her on live. He said, "No, mommy, this is chicken. What do you mean? It's not a plant." Because she was saying it's plant based, and he was like, "What do you mean? It's not no plant." So just to let you guys know, okay, if you see somebody who is still controlled by their food, okay, controlled by their emotions and what like that. Like a lot of people get triggered, when you talk about how meat is addicting, how you don't actually need it, and how easily it is to replace a lot of the plant-based, a lot of the meat-focused meals with amazing, healthy plant-based alternatives like lion's mane and like some of the other amazing mushrooms here. Okay, so we're gonna take 1 second and we're gonna put those X's in there. But so besides mushroom, is there anything else that you wanted to grow like in the near, get your hands on next that you haven't been able to get
No, I think
ever
for
messing with?
me, I want to like broaden my herbs. Of course, I have like about 5 different type of herbs, so I
Herbs.
definitely want to have my own like section of like so many different type of herbs because I actually make my own seasonings as well. So when I grow my own herbs, I actually process it myself and make my own seasonings. So that I feel like that is very important. So I'm kind of trying to go to the next level of everything that I'm growing in my garden. I will be able to process it myself, and you know won't even have to ever buy seasonings anymore from the store because I'll be able to do it myself. So I'm all about transparency and just saving
Mm-hmm.
money for the most part. So my horizon is so like broad that I want to grow so many things that I buy from the grocery store every day and just do it myself. I also even tried to learn how to grow the our black rice. But unfortunately, over here in Georgia, it would be definitely hard to grow rice. But I've seen how to kind of like how they really do the organic rice, the black rice, and it's definitely very intriguing how they really grow rice. But unfortunately, I don't think we can do rice over here.
Yeah, that one definitely. Certain foods serve
Hmm.
definitely different challenges. Herbs, great area to expand in, obviously for so many reasons. I heard that microgreens grow in cold environments and they also grow really quickly,
Hmm.
microgreens. So, considering the circumstances with what's going on in the world, I was gonna look into some mass microgreen farming. You know, I might get to a point where I could be able to give it away on a daily basis because I heard it grows in like 4 to 6 weeks, like it grows or
Sooner, yeah.
less.
It microgreens grow really fast, and I'm glad you touched on that. Microgreens, it used to never be a big thing in the gardening community, and I noticed that I'm in a lot of gardening communities, and I know because of the way things are turning out and changing. Microgreens is definitely one of the most staple things that most gardeners are growing now as a staple. So a lot of gardeners are now having a staple garden, which means a garden just for hard times. So they're gonna call it like the hard time garden. And so what they do is they actually go around their garden and they piece together different meals from what's in your garden. And so from in the garden community, and that's those are some type of things that I do as well. And so we go around the garden and we look at some things that we can put together to make a meal. So that when those hard times come, you know you can put onions and peppers together to make a meal, and whatever else you grow with a splash of herbs or whatever the case may be that you need to grow. And so I've noticed that a lot of new gardeners, as well as the older ones, they're incorporating microgreens and a lot of onions now, and a lot of peppers and a lot of herbs into their gardening now. So that was very smart.
You see what I'm saying, guys? There's so many different types of herbs, peppers, onions, just to stay in that world right
Mhm.
there. Right there. You could do a lot. And then with just like some lettuce and some
Mhm.
microgreens, you could feed a family. Okay? That's why I want to get like truthfully, I want to have like 8 to 10 mushroom kits. Okay? I want like maybe like a couple of trays, of microgreens, maybe like 8 feet worth of microgreens trays or
Mhm.
something like that. And, some other things that I could pair with that. Like you said, some onions is a great idea. I believe tomatoes are also
Mhm.
frost resistant to a certain point. Not like ideal, but they can handle, I could do them into the September range. I missed a lot of this seasonal stuff. Because as far as, and that's something else we could talk about. But mushrooms and microgreens kind of live outside of that world because of their temperature. Their ideal environment is really good anywhere. Like y'all might have more of a hard time keeping the mushrooms cool, honestly, because they require a cool, dark
Mhm.
environment, most of the time. But the microgreens, they grow really fast and they
Mhm.
grow anywhere. So the next thing that I got that you guys are gonna see, and this is not exciting. This does not make it for exciting streaming, okay? But this microgreens kit that I got here, what I mean by that is all I gotta do is put the
Yeah.
seed in the dirt. Like it's a two. That's all you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I got this microgreens grow kit, and okay, and it's a windowsill one. Just like I said, you can get stuff that hooks right on your window. And boom, I'm gonna show you guys that part of the journey. So I got the mushroom kit. I showed you guys I brought a plant home forever ago, and I started growing it. I showed you. I literally this basil was only one guy, and it was half the size when I first got it. We grew it to this point over the course of 2 months, maybe. Okay, sprouted up new life and a whole bunch of new sprigs, and we had this rocking. That's why I said I was kind of sad when I saw, what happened. Really, that happened in like 2 days. I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, but it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna bring it
It's fine.
right back. And but yeah, yeah, I think you guys, just with something like that, microgreens, mushrooms, and some herbs, some lettuce. Okay, let's hop outside, and I'm gonna show you guys, like I said, the community gardens that are close by. I just wanted to touch on one or two other things. I'm gonna slice the bag really quick for you guys to see. Let me put you on top, a monumentous moment, and then One more thing. You were actually mentioning things that help the garden, and you do your music and the plant food and stuff like that. Well, I don't know if you guys ever heard of organite, okay? But I looked into organite pyramids because of the RF waves, the technology, the 5G, the phones, the routers, the smart meters, all the towers that we're being hit by. We are the first generation experiment. We are the guinea pigs, unfortunately. And I use this as an energy transmuter. This protects us from the energies that are used to bombarding us, and it actually takes negative ions and it turns it into positive ions. And for you guys' own research, if you want your mind blown, you can go on YouTube, okay, and you can see videos of organite in gardens, okay, and you will see how the energy transmutation is so powerful of taking negative energy and turning it into positive energy that there were two gardens, you know, maybe 10 feet apart, and one of them had a pyramid in it and one of them didn't. And they had the exact same seeds and soil and watering, sun, but the garden that had the pyramid in it grew substantially faster and stronger than the one that did not. So this is something else. I know people that cook with their stones, that do their herb steeping with their stones. You would know that if you had my herbal guide, or you were in my detox group, which also has access to the herbal guide. And there are lots of different things that stones are capable of doing to enhance the life force energy, and even plants prove that as well. So check that out on YouTube. Get some organite in your life. It'll protect your energy, and it'll be better in your
Yes,
garden
I'm
as well
looking at
too.
it. This is amazing. I am just so just so blown away by Alkaline Zen, like with the organite. Like I'm looking at them already. I'm definitely gonna do my research, get into my YouTube, and and look. And I'm definitely, it's something that I definitely will be purchasing for my garden as well as inside of my home, because we have to protect our energy at all costs. There are so many energies that are floating around when we go to the store, when we're connecting with people. People don't think that those energies are real, but those energies are real,
Yes.
especially when someone's upset that's around you, or somebody has an attitude, or somebody has a bad energy. Them bad
Yep.
energies could definitely transfer to you. And and those, when you go to the store, somebody, oh, it has an attitude or different things like that. Definitely a firm believer of transferring energies. When you touch your hands on carts or the doorknob, those energies really do transfer.
Big facts. Big facts. That's my first X done ever. Okay. And I'm so glad that you fully understand, how powerful those energy situations are out and about in the world. You articulated it perfectly, and it's a must have. I actually I consider myself still a little slacking. I usually really like to wear an organite piece around my neck. You know what I'm saying? I had an organite ankh that I wore around my neck for a while. Unfortunately, my chain broke, and then I misplaced my organite ankh, y'all. Would you believe that? I'm so sad about that. Haven't seen it for months, but I will be replacing it. I kept saying it's gonna show up. It's gonna show up, but I don't even really stay where I used to stay at before, and I didn't find it, so kind of gave up on that. But I'll tell you guys, if you want to go get your own organite, or your own organite ankh, where I got it from, the website, real easy. It's a black queen. She makes it with love, and her pieces are breathtaking. She made like 5 more pieces at least that I want after this one. And obviously this one's gorgeous, but the new one she made, anyway, godpeace.com. Not peace and love, piece of a cake. Okay, God peace. com. Not peace and love, piece of a cake. Okay.
Cause I sure was gonna put that. Oh, these are
Yep, yep, I
beautiful.
know.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
You see it? She has something that even glow in the dark, Locks.
Oh, I love the blue heaven. That is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, these are. And she
Yeah.
has a ring. I might have to get the ring so I can wear the ring everywhere.
She started.
Wow, this is.
I forgot about the ring. I forgot about
Do
the
you
ring.
know
You
how
just
much
reminded me.
energy that would give off while you're walking around and with all of these crazy and all of these cash registers and different things that going?
Yes. Yes. Oh, is she freezing
I
up?
think it's you.
Is she
Let's
freezing
see.
up? Oh, it's me? Is
Yeah.
it me?
There you
Might
go.
be me.
There you,
Okay.
there you go. You're back. Wow. This is
Okay, cool.
beautiful.
Okay, cool.
Man.
So I'm just doing my X's inside. What up, Hitman? Doing my X's. We're gonna go check out the garden, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna make brunch. I just pretty much had some fruit. Hey, my family in the building. Thank you, bro, bro. Appreciate you big time. Um, and I hope you had your Zen moss. I just had my fruit breakfast. I'm probably gonna do a Zen moss smoothie at some point. You know what? I might do that before we step. No, we're gonna step out first. We're gonna step out first, and then we're gonna come back. I'm just making the X's again. The next X's. I have two of them. So I did the first one. Now I'm doing the
Where
second
you
one.
bought the mushroom? Does the guy sell other items as well as the mushrooms?
So it was a farmer's market with a bunch of individual farmer tables, and he was the mushroom table. He had lion's mane. He had oyster. No, no. He had lion's mane, and he had maitake, and then he had king oyster
Wow. So, what oyster do you
for six.
recommend as a first time? Because I don't think I really like the smushy texture, but they said it's a oyster that it kind of really as is really not like tough, but you can really do a lot of different things where it's not as mushy as most mushrooms. But what mushroom do you
Yes,
recommend?
if that's what you're looking for, my favorite is number two. He's not like the toughest one, okay, but he has a really good texture, and that's the black or the gray oyster
Oyster.
mushrooms. Okay, yeah, oyster for sure is number two, but the number one is known as, they call it king oyster, but it's really called the king trumpet mushroom. Okay, the king trumpet mushroom. Yeah, so even though they call it the king oyster, y'all know that one. That's the one that looks like a log. It's like
Hmm.
thicker. All right. That one is exactly what you're talking about. I can make pulled pork from that one because you just fork it. You fork it, and it's gonna end up like little strips of
Hmm.
pulled pork, and that's how tough it is. And as it grills up, it blackens and it turns brown
And
like meat does.
does it
And
hold
then
flavor
you can
very well?
also extremely well. All, really, that all the oysters do. There's several different kinds of oysters. All the oysters do are they're my favorite. But yeah, really well the king trumpet. And I also use this one to make my bacon. Speaking of textures, okay, you thin slice it and you fry it crispy. You saute it crispy. You use some cocoa aminos to blacken it, and you season it, and it will be. Remember, we calling it alkaline bacon. It's not bacon, y'all. It's just my BLT. It's my plant-based BLT. It's not bacon. Okay? But if you go look at my video of the BLT, you be like, yo, if that's the plant-based BLT, I can mess with that. That's the alkaline BLT. You know what I'm saying? My joint, my joint, my joint better than McDonald's that most of
Okay.
y'all be in. You feel me?
Okay. I'm
Way
excited
better.
for alkaline
Don't
over
sleep.
here,
But yeah,
y'all. I'm over here smiling like I'm the one who cutting the mushroom. So I'm really excited. I'm definitely going mushroom hunting. Our farmers market is into Saturday, so I definitely cannot wait. I have never seen mushroom. I might even start to do mushrooms, you guys, and go to the go to the farmers market and sell mushrooms. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Lily, this is a lion's mane mushroom kit. I really want to open it up at the top. I don't know. He didn't
But
say that I should
don't
cut
cut
the
the
top of
top.
the bag or anything like that.
Don't cut the top.
You
Don't
can't
cut
cut
the
the
top.
top, right?
Hey,
That'll ruin it.
Queen.
Yeah, okay, because the whole thing is that you got to keep in the moisture and you got to keep
Right.
it
So
wet.
open the
That's the
top,
whole thing,
all of the
guys.
moisture is going to come out. So I think that's good.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to see in. I want to show y'all the lion's mane on the top of it, but you can't really see too well. But it's got a whole layer of lion's mane on the top. It looks so good.
Wow.
It looks so good.
Hmm.
And then this one has even more lion's mane up top. This one
Oh
has
yeah, you can
big,
see it. Yeah, I
big
can see
buds,
it. Okay. Oh,
right?
Isn't it
Right.
amazing?
So I'm excited to see how this is gonna go. Yeah, let's do it, y'all. Okay, so that was our. I showed you the microgreens kit. I showed you the lion's mane. Yo, you are so awesome, Elevated Likes. I hope you guys are really enjoying this and taking this in as much as I am. She's had a ton of phenomenal information that I know that I knew I wanted to record this for a reason, but I'm absorbing as much as I can too, and it's so important for us as a community to do our best out here in this regard, in this right, as far as taking care of what we know, the knowledge that we have that we're passing on to the next generation. Is there anybody in your life that you're looking to share that, like have like an apprentice, or somebody else that is passionate, that I know you talk to other farmers and stuff, but like maybe somebody personally, a friend, a family member, anything like that
No,
going
I
on?
really am, believe it or not, the only one in my family who gardens. I am literally the only one that has a garden. That's so intrigued about the
Wow.
garden, and that's okay. I don't mind because I am the
Yeah,
forefront to let them see that it's really not that hard, and it's really something that I enjoy
exactly.
doing. And I definitely like to go and connect with farmers because I really like to see their point of view and the things that's happening, and how they do different things. So that's why I try to incorporate different methods in my garden, because what one thing might not work for someone else might. So I try to incorporate different strategies in my garden to help those of all different levels to be able to get gardening.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love I love how you just break down your whole platform and setup and give people that exposure and that access on a daily basis. I honestly, I don't think I've seen another garden on
Now,
the app. I have
I'm the
you.
only gardener on this app.
Yeah, I don't. That is so crazy. Speaking of gardening and not knowing other gardeners, I've been preparing for this. I've been gathering my organic seeds for months now to join you. Years, really. I started collecting some time ago, and most of these are alkaline goods as well too. I got squash and onion and quinoa seeds. I got a whole bunch of organic seeds. So often people come up to me, or they come in the comments, they come online, and they talk about wanting to do stuff. They talk about wanting to eat alkaline. Somebody said something yesterday, and I was like, well, have you ever searched for a recipe? And they were like, nah. And I was like, we have to be about it. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's not going to just fall into your lap, but you've probably stepped over medicine growing outside in the street and not known it. They taught us that dandelion, life-saving dandelion, is a weed that should be yanked from the ground. Okay, That's what they teach us. So we have to unlearn and relearn how much powerful medicine that we're actually walking over all the time. You know, so I almost left without my battery pack. I would have been mad. Um, so yeah, you have to learn. Right now, I think the emphasis is on getting the knowledge on another level that's going to enable us to really be our best selves. Because I want to show y'all, like I said, a couple community gardens real quick, and what type of potential you can have. Because there's a lot of abandoned land. There's a lot of grass plots. There's a lot of underutilized spaces that our family members have, spaces in between properties that people aren't even claiming or using and stuff
Mhm.
like that. You know, so yeah, I want to put that out there and let the people
Right.
know that this is what you can do. You know what I
And as
mean?
a community, we all also, if you have family members that, want a piece of land, they're auctioning off so many pieces of land every day as we speak. Um, Maybe you can connect with people who want the same motivation, who wants the same thing. And sometimes I've even seen people who actually band together and put their money together to purchase a piece of land. And the piece of land can be your growth, so you can grow your own garden and different things like that. So there's always open ideas for a lot of different things that you can do. Being a minority of people, there are so many things out there that will actually help us to get our own land. There are a lot of projects for us out there. You just have to find.
Exactly. You just have to find them, or build them.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to that neighbor who has that grass patch. Even just learning, because we talked about starting with one at a time. But let's say you wanted to start with a couple, you could just take the time to study a couple of plants first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that way you're more prepared when you bring those babies back, because a lot of these are affordable. We make it think it's so hard and so costly, but you can actually go and take $20 at a farmer's market and you can walk away with a couple of nice size herb plants that has life-saving food on it. Okay? And then on top of that, like I said, when you get the foraging level, which is the next level, okay, that I really want to get to, because I'm noticing how much lettuce I'm recognizing growing wild, how much dandelion I'm recognizing growing wild, how much even lamb's quarters, alkaline foods that I don't even see being sold in the market like that, okay, are out here growing wild. And I'm not even talking about in the parks, like we got some big Prospect Park and Central Park. I'm not even talking about those like little city sized parks. Grand Rising, Miss Tila. Um, I'm talking about how just out and about, okay, you will see food. Now, I'm not telling you to take, any food from anywhere, dogs peeing and stuff like that. But if you can find something away from heavy traffic areas,
Mm-hmm.
especially that you could tell is like, untouched and people not walking through there and whatnot. But that's the power of foraging, and having that recognition just to know what's safe and what's not safe. It is potentially life-saving information, especially in the times that we're living in. You feel me?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to, like I said, reiterate what Alkaline said. That is true. So you have to think way back then when our ancestors who had, and their grandparents who had farmland, they didn't have all of these things that we're adding to our garden to help produce our garden. They used natural things that were around wherever they could to process this food, these fruits and vegetables around us. So I'm trying to get back into the more natural thing where I actually make my own fertilizers when I'm using what we have on this earth to produce more things. And sometimes we have to go back to what are the root of the things first started, how greens really look when they first started, how things in your garden can actually be a help to the food that you already have. And so that's what I do as far as going around. I even have a tree that's way back there, you guys, and I do show you guys research. They used to use it for medicinal purposes, but now, most people reading it said that it causes you to feel high or dizziness, but it's definitely a very herbal tree way back there. And so you just never know what you have on your land. Everybody has dandelions in their yards and would never think that dandelion helps bring
Yep.
down high blood pressure as well. So most people didn't think that dandelion helps with high blood pressure. So if you have these issues, we have to start with what we're putting in our body that's causing these issues that are going on. Hey, Plucky Kittens.
Yes. Yes. Powerful
Yes.
pieces. Touched on so much great information so far, and we're not done yet. I think that, the world is vast when it comes to the world of gardening, and you could literally never cover all the benefits and all the aspects of the lifestyle. So I appreciate y'all coming in, sharing in the comments, asking questions, vibing out with us. We really appreciate you. Grandma water her garden with water and compost in it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then fertilizer, compost. We talked about scrapping, okay? Regrowing from scraps, excuse me. But we didn't talk about, all your leftover. Like some people, they don't take their chopped up veggies and the leftover pieces and stuff and make them into that compost and that broth that you can for your plant food. Also, I know some people that they take the water that we strain off from the sea moss and the water that we strain off from the vegetables that we're cooking with, and they put that inside their plants. Do you ever do stuff like that to give that super mineral
I
boost?
don't do that, but I do use when I boil when I'm doing my vegetables. I do make my own vegetable broth as well. So I do boil my vegetables and I end up straining it out. And so the seasonings and different things like that, I do save it and make my own vegetable broth. But I have definitely not done the vegetable thing. I do take. Remember, I have two compost bins. I do take my old vegetable scraps and put it into my compost bin with my worms in it, and that's how I definitely make my soil. Hey, South. Hey, Nina.
Oh, okay. You said vegetable
Yeah,
bin. You
it's
take them.
actually called
You put them in.
Yeah, it's
You
actually
put.
called a compost bin. And inside my compost bin is
Oh,
actually soil in there. And you will actually purchase worms and every scraps that you have as far as vegetable scraps, you actually throw it into the compost bin. And you actually let the worms break down the vegetables and the poop and all of that inside of the soil. I take that and I feed it to my garden, and when I tell you my flowers bloom like no other, okay?
okay. Okay. That's what's up. That's powerful. That's very powerful information. I yeah, that's the type of stuff right there that I really, you know, taking that time, having the knowledge and letting things work to get the real results. The biggest problem with food today, guys, is that the mineral content of this food. That's why I said we could do a
Yeah.
whole segment, a whole hour just on
Hmm.
soil, okay? Just on the issues with soil, just with the mineral issues. There's a lot more to learn. Okay, we're giving you guys a very strong introduction. Elevator's putting me on to some great stuff and reminders, and some stuff I haven't even been exposed to as well too. Powerful info, and I want y'all to know that the soil is the biggest issue for most people. I think it's where most experienced farmers really kind of put the most thought, planning, and preparation to is the preparation of the
Hmm.
soil. Okay, because that's what's really going to make make that difference. So yeah, her doing that compost bin, okay. And here's another family that they had a lot of stuff growing before, but they took some stuff down. Um, I don't know what happened, but they this just stuff like this you could
Yeah.
have hanging up. You know what I'm saying? And they had like, but they had like one or two more, and I don't know what, you know, maybe I don't know what happened. Somebody couldn't take care of it anymore, but you can see they have stuff still growing
Oh
right there.
wow. Yes. Love it.
Okay, okay. Imagine when the whole thing was lit up, and then they had two more in front of it, one more, and then one
Hmm.
more after that. They had, like I said, this is a regular driveway with no even real dirt, but they were able to grow this much food. Okay, already. So don't sleep. There's people in my neighborhood, and I've seen stuff on the internet. I saw there was one family that grew some absurd number. Like if you Google it, put in like family grows like 1,300 pounds of food in a month on their homeland. Like they don't have no real space. It's just like a regular house with the regular plot around it, you know. But they grew up and they grew interwoven. That's why permaculture, all right, permaculture. We have to learn it. It's how to be, it's just more high level growing that's going on. Um, you know, in this environment, in this apartment city lifestyle, because people don't think that it's possible. But you can actually, there are ecosystems that you grow where like they're staggered in layers, right? Talking about high quality soil, where like each layer is feeding the layer beneath it, and you just gotta water the top layer. Like it's super economical, because the whole system is like reusing the same water over again. Like it's crazy high level systems out there, and then there's really simple systems that you can use to grow inside your apartment too. Like I saw a white. Did you see that white
Yeah, yeah.
stand
Is
that
that
had like the
the
arms that came out with it?
hydroponic system? Yeah.
Yep, yep. You saw it. You saw it, and you can grow right from it. There's things that do a lot of the work for
Right.
you. Okay, y'all. And yeah, we didn't even really touch on hydroponic growing and other styles as well too. Here's another. They're not really growing any food, but another little garden.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay, they're doing their thing over here. All right, but I'm about to hit the community garden. I'm like maybe
It's
2 blocks away or
interesting,
something like
y'all.
that.
I'm excited to see this community garden. I always wanted to have a community garden. So this is
I'm glad you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, and I'm loving everything we are chopping it up about. Look, here's another one. They just got
okay.
plants, so we're not gonna stop.
Look at that beautiful sun.
But yeah, so
Look at the
this
sun and the air that Alkaline's in. Is walking in. He's getting his exercise. He's breathing in this amazing air. It's just no other greater feeling to be able to do something like that.
I love getting out. I love getting out.
Mhm. Thank you, everybody on my side, for
But
tuning in with me and Alkaline. It's been the most amazing. I definitely need that recording. This has definitely been amazing. I just love to connect with people who
got you.
are on that are trying to be that are on the same level as us as a conscious community to help one another. So definitely thank you everybody for
Yes,
being over here. Thank you for the gifts too as well.
yes. I feel the same way. Conscious community, someone that I vibrate with. That's why, like, you know, no disrespect. And a lot of y'all in the comments, risers and whatnot. I obviously would with y'all, okay. But there's not a lot of people that I would just hop on a panel with. As far as the app goes, I tell y'all all the time. You got to go with what resonates with you. Okay. And from day one, Elevated has definitely resonated with me. They got some
Okay.
more
What is the
produce growing on the
temperature
sides.
out there where both of you are? For where I am, I'm in the state of Georgia. It's about I'll say about 80 or 90 degrees right now. It's kind of cool, but the sun is out. So it's about 80 or 90. What about you, Alkaline? Is it around what over there?
85, it's about, yeah, 83, 85 degrees where I'm at
Mhm.
right now. New York City, Brooklyn. The high all week is like high 80s, and the low is like 78, 75. So yeah, that's the temperature swing that we get out here. And the sun, it's always been, we haven't had too much thick humidity. It's been pretty breezy, hot, sunny days. So, good summer weather. That's about the most you could ask for, as long as the air is not choking you. You
And
know what
I
I'm
here
saying?
for the part
It's 90 degrees.
Georgia is hot, y'all. And as y'all see, when I go live at 10, I try to go live at 9 because sometimes it's so hot. The heat is unbearable. But today is really cool. Relax. Y'all look, it's 90 degrees right now. It's only 9. You love. Trust me, Georgia understands. We have a different type of because we're really next to Florida. So this right here, this kind of weather is trust me. Usually around this time, I'm not able to sit outside because I'm sweated so bad.
Yeah, it's definitely different. We definitely are blessed. I know somebody's always got it worse. Dre talking about 90 degrees at 9 a.m. Cali side, West Coast side, that's rough. Um, I know also Texas. Somebody I did a PK with a couple days ago said that it was 115 in Texas. Okay,
Gosh,
so are
I
we
would have
here?
passed out.
All right, right. He said 115, and I got uncomfortable
I
because,
know.
sheesh, that is intense.
I would have.
But I heard about an intense heat wave that we were supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
expecting during this time, not just U.S. but actually worldwide. Okay, UK. I don't know how you get a worldwide heat wave, but they were talking about all parts of the world are experiencing temperatures and stuff. But they like to hype stuff up, the media. Check out where I'm at, guys.
Yay! Thank
Community garden. So it's huge. Let me go on the other side. The other side
you.
is more. I think I can
God.
go inside this one,
Okay.
but like I'm not a member here. I don't have nothing growing up in here.
Okay.
But
So
let's see what's up. So
bring
they got
stuff
a lot.
there and grow something there. Can
What'd you
you
say?
bring like did you said you have to have a membership?
So I don't. I think you can just come and talk to them and grow and build with
Ah,
them.
okay.
You guys see all
Yes.
this?
Thank you, love. Wow. Okay. Definitely, Alkali, you gotta get in there and get to know who's there. Yes.
Right?
Wow.
It's only like 15, not even 15 minutes from my
Right.
house, and it's big. It's big. Look at this whole other
Oh
side,
yes, that is very big. Oh, look at the little tires. That is so smart. They have a little tire garden. Oh, wow.
you can repurpose everything. I've seen the
Mm-hmm.
pallets, repurposing the wooden pallets and making beds out of those too.
Wow.
Look at these big lettuce.
Oh yeah, they are
Huge,
huge.
huge.
Yep. Hey, Precious, say Johnny Addy. That is amazing. Okay, y'all, we got to get on that big.
So
Wow.
here's an empty bed right
They
here.
have a whole
You guys
grocery
see
store going on over there.
a whole grocery
Mm-hmm.
store. As far as the eye can see, they got food growing tall. So it looks like honestly they let it run wild a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. Like on this side, it may not be. I don't know. Maybe this is their plan. Maybe this is what
Right.
they want. But it looks like it's not as you know like
Yeah.
separated and or they kind of got everything kind of
Uh-huh.
just growing on top. But that's a good style too, because then you get the minerals and the benefits from this guy on top of this
Mm-hmm.
guy and supporting this
Right.
one. You
Yeah.
know.
That's a good idea.
But what do you guys think? Is this
That
cool or
is,
what?
I love
Community
it.
garden, and it's like
I love it. I love it. And that's the kind of setup that I want. So I can have my whole backyard filled with groceries. I only have to go to the store and buy no groceries.
I love it. I love it. You already know what time it is. I love
We
the way
have
you
them
think.
all. Okay,
I love
so
the way.
someone says we have them all in our city. That is amazing. That's really good. We want to try to have everybody's city to have a whole bunch of them here. Okay.
Community gardens, we need them all. You know, I've seen them across Brooklyn. This is the biggest one I've ever seen. I was telling you there's two more within walking distance, but I've seen several. Like I might just take a day and just go to all of them and make a video for
Yeah.
YouTube so everybody can see. And NYC, like a lot of people in Brooklyn, they don't think they could garden. They don't think there are gardeners in their own backyard. They don't realize there's probably 10 different community gardens within a 20-minute train ride. We hop on the subway every day around here. So, there's so much potential. And then again, I showed you guys the homes that had it food growing from tiny slivers of dirt. You saw the squash hanging and growing. Okay, now you're seeing this whole community garden. They got barbecue pits and trees and everything in there. We have to take back our
Hmm.
community. We have to take back our health. Our environment is a huge aspect of our health. Look at Elevated. You know how much people are drawn to her energy, how she reset herself in that garden world that she's in over there. Like, I love it. I was just drawn. I saw her. I was just swiping. Boom. I wasn't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So, and I always, at a certain amount of time goes by, I'm like, oh no, I didn't see no green on my feed in a while. Where's Elevated at? You know what I'm saying? I want that
Yeah.
energy and that bubbly smile that she always shares with us. It's all connected. It's no coincidence that somebody who I'm now finding out was going through, of course, her own personal journey, ups and downs, used gardening, used nature to help reset, reconnect, and realign herself. I literally told you guys we're going to get into how powerful grounding, sun gazing, and nature is on a scientific, on a chemical level. It is life saving, life changing stuff. Is there any, more stuff in that regard you want to share, like how powerful that was for
So
you?
what you were saying was, I'm just gonna piggyback on what you were saying. Alkaline is absolutely the first thing when you have any issues going on in your life, the first thing they want to do is put you on antidepressant medicine and tell you you're
Yup,
crazy or tell you all of these things. But we don't
yup.
really even get to the root cause of what's occurring in our life, what's causing us to be stressed or what's causing us to be so chemically imbalanced. And a lot of imbalance that our body goes through is a lot of it is generated in the food that we eat. So a lot of those things like soy, has a chemical imbalance in our body as well as for females. So if you guys didn't know, a lot of soy that women intake can give us a hormonal imbalance that can mess a lot of things up when we are wanting to carry a child or even carry a child. So a lot of those things we have to go back down to the root of the issue, because when we start to really express who we are and how stressed we are, the first thing they want to say is go to the doctor, go to a psychotherapist. You know, we want to put you on all of these medicines, and when these medicines aren't good for us. So I didn't allow them to do that to us, to me, per se, because I was able to diagnose myself. My diagnosis for myself was allowing myself to be transparent, was allowing myself to know that I am elevated, I am stronger than what people see, and that I have this, and no matter what circumstances we come in contact with, we are stronger than what we see. We are strong beings. We create our own world. We create our own existence. And if we live in the now, where we are focused on what's presenting in front of us right now, a lot of these issues with us going through uh, chemical imbalance or psychological, you feel, can definitely, we can heal ourselves. And as beings, we heal ourselves one step and one day. That's how I was able to do it. So I hope that encourages somebody that may be going through, and when people want to tell you that you're crazy or you got things going on, you're not crazy. You're human, and you're going to go through things. And we want to help you get to the root of why you're going through those things. And sometimes just changing your diet can really embrace a different change in the body and chemically in the mind, and just going outside and just getting sun or grounding yourself or just taking a few minutes for yourself can really transpire and change who you are becoming. And I definitely believe that wholeheartedly.
So great. You always touch on it in such a good detail, and it's so true. It's all connected. The first thing they want to say is drugs. They don't even fix anything. They create more issues while they maintain some of what we believe, is one thing when it's really another. It's mineral deficiency. It's mucoid plaque. It's addiction and strung out on these food-like substances that don't truly nourish or feed us. Okay, it's a combination of those things, just putting the body back in its normal high vibrational state. And that's what nature does. Take it one day at a time. We are human. We're supposed to go through emotions, but it's how we react to it that society has conditioned us to, like, get down on ourselves, not believe in ourselves, limit ourselves, all these things that, they say 70-80% of the self talk that we have when you're thinking and talking to yourself is negative. Okay, they say that the vast majority of it is negative, and that's always been really weird for me to process, because I see it. I didn't really know the stat most of my life, but I seen it in people most of my life. Like, why does this person not think they could do it? Like, I don't understand. Ever since I was young, with whether it was just like playing with kids or sports or just watching adults in my life that were going through different challenges, and they didn't have confidence in themselves, because everybody kind of, like, we're so shy of the moment, and we're so shy of opportunity, that, like, most of the time where people see fear, risk, they're worried. I see opportunity. I see, what I mean? It's really perspective. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say that, like, since young, I've seen that people don't really believe, and they don't have that same perspective for themselves. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way we're treated, okay? The environment around us from a very small age, the foundational years. I was poured into with love. My mom always told me I could do it. I'm amazing. Some people never got
Right.
told that. Some people never got a hug and a kiss. You know what I'm saying? Even really, so it's, you got to really That's why I treat everybody as amazing as I can, respect, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know, you just don't know, you know? So everybody's going through different stuff. Take it one day at a time, but these tools have helped me, you know, in adulthood when I did have my struggles. Like, I'm naturally great, but damn, adulthood can be challenging, boy, let me tell you. And when I had my challenges and my struggles, you know, stepping outside of things and really just looking at how I feel about myself and my life, that was a huge part of becoming who I am today. That was a
Absolutely.
huge part. So
Absolutely.
for
I
all,
agree.
right? So for all of those that want a higher level of peace, a higher level of zen in their life, that you don't want to respond, you know, you don't want to react. You want to be always, you know, logical and not emotional based and whatnot, and not channeling negative, always vibrating higher, grand rising, you know, that type thing. Then just set that intention, and like Elevator said, take it one day at a time. And before you know it, whoo, you're gonna have a whole new
Okay, and then
lifestyle.
we also gotta not
Yeah.
only take over like uh alkaline and say, make sure that what you're putting into the body is try to make it sure it's as natural as possible. Because I remember standing back now those days that I was having those issues, those depression issues and different things like that. That's where a lot of the foods come in too. I noticed I was eating a lot of junk food and food that wasn't healthy. That also applies to the body. And imagine those chemicals that they put in the chocolate candy bars and the tater chips, those hormones that make you crave for the chips and the chocolate more. So just imagine those hormones and the chemicals that they use, and then mix it with your emotional state as well, gives out an off chemical imbalance. So you have to remember that as well, that the food can contribute to a lot of your chemically imbalanced things, a lot of your, you know, your emotions as well. And so that doesn't take away that you are going through. Everybody has their own struggles in their own way. So not everybody is going through the same thing, but that's where indulging in the chips and the cookies, because they know what they're doing. These companies know they can put a certain, you know, chemicals that really wants you to keep getting another bag and the chips and the cookies and all of that other type of things. So I noticed when I start to change my habits and my eating habits, incorporating more fruits and vegetables, that's when I really start to see a shift in who Elevator was, a shift in my mind frame and a shift body wise. And then that's when I started to connect more with gardening. And I'm like, eating fruits and vegetables really make you feel like this. So then I got intrigued with gardening. And once I incorporated both of them, I have been a showstopper. Okay. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Okay. But every day I'm learning to become a better version of Elevated, a better version to for other people to see that they can do this, and you know, and they got this. Just like Alkaline Zen. That's why I appreciate this king so much, because he wants to instill in you guys greatness. And there's not many people out here that really want to instill greatness into people. And so many people that are so negative instead of positive out here. And so it's just amazing that there is a community on Bigo that of so many great minded people like Alkaline and Candy, who really want to see people win. And we really want to see you win. I want to see you win. I want to see you at healthiest at all costs. And I want to see you winning. Everybody has this perceived notion that if you know, a vegan or whatever lifestyle, you have to be skinny. So when people come for me in the comments, I guarantee you, if we go to the doctor neck and neck, I'll be more healthier than you. Okay.
I love it. I love it. This the video threw me off for a second because it's a little delayed. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, she's still moving. But but yes, I resonated with every word of that. Um, you just again keep hitting on it. I can't wait, man. I knew that this was just the beginning. You know, when I met you and Candy and Stats and Age and BK, which I feel like y'all for are the most dedicated to the research and sharing the message consistently as possible. Agent BK hasn't been as active in my time on Bigo, but I learned quickly that she had definitely put in quite a bit of work in these Bigo streets before I got on here, and was lending so much knowledge and time to all of our platforms. Um, you know, when I was first coming on, and to this day, all right, because she was in my life probably the other day. But that community, that camaraderie, do that in real life, y'all. I just came from that community garden. I talked about calling your family and your loved ones and telling them about what you're learning and what you're studying. That's love. You know what I'm saying? Remember, we're not doing this strictly because we feel the information is important, which we do, but we're also doing this because we feel that the information is tremendously needed right now. This is not optional, in my opinion. It should have never been. This is how they gain control. Okay, the easiest way to gain control over people, the food supply.
Hmm.
The food supply. Okay, and when I had that realization, I said that this has to be top priority. So thank you so much, Locs, for helping me just with information and inspiration. Because especially since seeing you doing your thing, that just like with you watching me with the mushroom kits, it lights another fire when you see it on. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what I want right
Okay.
there. That's what I want right there.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. I just love how you say, "Bruh, each one teach one." We're just trying to, just trying to teach people that we all can do. Just have to remember that a lot of the meat that we're eating too, as they're torturing animals, because you really don't know what they're actually really doing to these animals before they're even slaughtered. So you have to understand, a lot of them are upset. A lot of them, can really go through emotional things, and those things can definitely transfer. And so if you're in the making of becoming a vegan or a vegetarian, whichever one you choose, just take your time. Know that nothing and every day is not always perfect, and just every day make a stride to become better and better at what you're trying to do. And I'm telling you, before you know it, you'll be there. Like literally, before you know it, you will be there.
I love it. I love it. I feel the same way. I have to agree. Also, guys, stay hydrated. Eat your fruit. Drink your key lime water. We talked about temperatures. Just a quick reminder. People are getting hit with these heat strokes. They're getting dizzy. They're not hydrating properly. They're not eating enough fruit. You can't just have a little kid cereal bowl of fruit. Okay, you need two regular size bowls. You need a mixing bowl. You know those aluminum bowls that you mix batter in? You need a mixing bowl of fruit to properly hydrate. You know how much minerals we are losing through our sweat? My bad. I'm gonna lose service for about
Okay.
10 seconds.
Hi, Purple Rain. How are you? Thank you for the hug.
Thank you guys so much for
Y'all
watching.
are on it over here. Y'all is watching. Make sure you follow Alkaline Zen. He talks about the alkalinity. He talks about the sea moss, you guys. He also cooks over there. And when I get a chance, I always try to get over there. He is a really good person with mushrooms. So he is actually teaching me how to do this mushroom thing. I'm usually not a mushroom person, but definitely I want to start growing my own mushrooms and really figuring out how the mushrooms taste. Okay. So definitely we gotta get it in. What's up, Trey? I'm good. Had to stop and say hello. Hello, Purple Rain. Thank you, my love. Peace. Peace, love, and light. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. We have an amazing, you guys. If y'all missed it, we definitely had an amazing, amazing conversation. So hopefully Alkaline Zen will post this on his YouTube somewhere where you guys can rewind and hear us speak so that it can encourage your soul and your life, because this is definitely what we need to be
I'm gonna
doing.
check the recording right now. Give me 1 second. I just got back inside, and
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'll follow up next week. Okay, I'm gonna follow you. I got you. Oh, thank you. Yeah.